Alright, by this point I'm 20 hours in the game, but my journey is much slower paced than a normal person. However, we are about to embark on Realm 19, Refuge of the Magi. As you reach out to touch the altar, you feel a peculiar sensation emanating all around you. It feels like frustration, perhaps a struggle.
You! Just in time! Soul Flare! Can't resist! Find it! Kill it! Hurry!
It sounds like Zant is locked in a struggle against some sort of creature, but how can a mere creature manage to overcome a god? Regardless, you decide to do as Zant bids and find this so-called Soul Flare. But let's face it, it's not going to be at this realm depth. It never is. Deeper you go. So yeah, for example, I woke up at 5 this morning with the rest of my family, and it is now 8 o'clock, which means I've been farming for 3 hours while I waited for my chance to record. I have displays and text messages of battles turned off for this combat setup because really all I'm doing is I'm just having my guy explode. So if you haven't seen the setup for this, the character that is the third position character, when he provokes, he dies because of the 5th position character. Hold on. Your Onyx Apocalypse begins to roll around the sticky green mucus on the floor. As luck would have it, the mucus is actually a pack of slimes who are resting, and they're not very happy that you disturb their slumber. The creatures attack. What happens is my 5th character slot, whenever a teammate provokes, he eats them. So they die immediately. Whenever my 3rd character dies, he does half his health and damage to the enemy. So I just combined those two things to create this suicide bomber. So there's no real need for the flood of text messages that occur when I suicide bomb. Now he's able to kill enemies twice his level. So don't think that just because I'm over leveled that I can defeat the enemy. Yes, I am over leveled. That is totally true. But let's take a look. Inspect. If I inspect this guy, he has 345 hit points. I think my character had like 1400 hit points at level 12 or something. Oops. This alchemy station contains several different components. If you mix 2 of them together, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Okay. Let's do yellow oil and green ooze. The 2 ingredients bubble and fuzz, erupting in a vibrant explosion. The sound of the explosion alert creatures from other realms of your presence. Sure. I wonder if it even matters what I pick. So, yes, pink and blue. The resulting concoction is actually power. I'm gonna actually make a note of this as I'm... The shrine emits a horrible ear-piercing scream. It's loud, obnoxious, and intolerable. Just when you think you can't endure another moment of noise, it suddenly stops. Unfortunately, all the commotion causes several nearby enemies to take notice of your presence. Yeah, I'll take note of the ones of the colors I do and see if it's just maybe completely random. Welcome back, Tran. It seems you're ready to finalize the project. Specialization Astrologer. You can change your specialization at the Enchanted Wardrobe. Next up, I guess we'll do Doombringer. The Doombringer draws magic from the Bastion of the Void to fuel his creatures with vast amounts of power. Doombringer specializes in allowing their creatures to perform actions multiple times in a row, all while nullifying his enemies' efforts. Alright, so we have our maximum of 2 projects. We're currently working on Enchanter and Specialization Doomringer. Taking a look at my perks, the way perk points work is the perk points are spread across your whole specialization each. So, for example, I have Max Skirmish and Max Reign of Chaos. Let's go ahead and reset for now just to see how many I have exactly. Reset perks. So in total I have 280, so when I switch to Astrologer, I will also have 280, even if I spend them all right now. But I don't think the skills carry over, so if I max out Skirmish right now, I don't think I won't get Skirmish for Astrologer. We'll go and, let's see here, I have 180. I think I would like Reverberation. If a battle ever takes more than 1 turn, something's going wrong and I need to do more damage, so why not? I'm all about the damage, I think. Straight up killing the enemy is good, and I guess Chaos is really about doing damage. Though their spells don't really seem like it. But the monsters definitely do. So I have 80 points left, we'll just put the rest in Reign of Chaos. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch class. Specialization, I can switch to Astrologer. Astrologers are calculating Magi who specialize in creating a sound strategy for each battle. Oftentimes, their plans are so well constructed that their creatures are able to take combat into their own hands without any further input from their master. As an Astrologer, you'll plan most of your battle strategies before combat even begins. Astrologers allow their creatures to act on their own under certain conditions. Let's try it. Your specialization has been changed to Astrologer. Let's see, let's hope we go back to our perks. I should have 280. Your creature with the highest health starts battle at the top of the timeline. Alright, that's gonna be my bomber. My suicide bomber. If you have 3 dead creatures, creatures have at least 3 buffs, creatures have less than 80% they heal themselves, cast their topmost gem, creatures have at least 3 debuffs, they're resistant, have at least 5 buffs, they're resurrected, highest attack, always attack, gain more attack, highest defense always provokes, highest speed always attacks, damages enemies that deal damage to it. Okay. Alright, well, we're definitely taking Ascendant. I don't know really what else I'll be taking. Nothing that I currently have points in really affect anything. I guess this, your creatures with the highest attack always attack at the end of their turn. Sure. Does this mean I get to attack twice? Probably Summer Solstice. Alright, so now I'm an Astrologer. So I'm no longer a Reaver. Let's try this out.
Quickly! Running out of time!
Frankly, you're going as fast as you can. It would help if you didn't need to finish a stupid realm quest every time you want to use the teleportation shrine, but alas, you didn't make the rules. Alright, let's try this out. Instant death to everybody. Okay, so I've been kind of taking notes on these things. Let's see here. So I can have red, blue, or green. Red and green, white, granite. So let's try red and blue. Crystal. I'll write that down when I'm not recording. So I might forget between now and until I stop. Now, one of the reasons I'm destroying things, even though I don't typically expect it to do anything, is the bookshelves do typically say destroyed, but sometimes they actually spawns a random encounter, or a different encounter. up against, my dude just sort of yells and then gets eaten by his teammate. That's what's going on. This is most certainly the Soul Flare who is attacking Zant. It holds what appears to be the Sorcery Orb. What a happy coincidence that is. It is channeling its dark magic into it. It must be using the Sorcery Orb to control Zant.
Welcome, Pest. Foresaw your attempt to interrupt my plans the moment you entered this realm. Unfortunately for you, I also foresee your imminent demise. Give up now. The Sorcery Orb is mine. The Refuge of the Magi is mine. Zant, the God of Wisdom, is mine. And soon I will have my very own Astrologer to act as my pawn. Fear not, I will make this quick.
Alright, macro. And goodbye.
Thank you, Tran. Under normal circumstances, a mere creature would stand no chance at overcoming a god like me. Did not realize that soul flares were capable of manipulating the nether orbs in such a way. Xyrxzys attempted to break my will using the sorcery orb. Had you not intervened, I fear that my mind would have been forever lost. I know already that you have come to the Refuge of the Magi to claim the sorcery orb for your own. By freeing me from this disaster, it is clear that you will handle such a valuable relic responsibly. Take it, the sorcery orb is yours now.
Did Zant learn nothing from this encounter? He should be finding somewhere to hide this thing, not giving it away to someone he met only a few moments ago. Not that you're complaining, of course.
Thank you again for your help, Tran. If you ever need anything, you must only ask.
Achievement unlocked, the Mindbender. Yet another orb is ours. Well done, Tran. What's that? You say a creature was using the sorcery orb to control Zant? I did not know the nether orbs possessed such power. I thought Caliban said that they were merely used to grant us passage to eternity's end. If a nether orb can be used to control a god, what makes them any different from the ultimate nether orb? I know this goes without saying, Tran, but you must protect the nether orbs at all costs. If they were to fall into the wrong hands, there's no telling what could happen, especially since we don't know what these orbs are capable of exactly. Anyway, your next destination is the Great Pandemonium, which is ruled by Vulcanar, the god of fire. Personally, I don't care much for Vulcanar. His personality is just, well, you'll find out for yourself soon enough. Take care, Tran. While traveling through a realm, you'll sometimes encounter a portal that takes you to a randomly selected location called a nether realm. Nether realms offer all kinds of interesting surprises, which usually involve opportunities to obtain extra treasure. In case you have decided to pick up the game and you're not sure which of the many classes you want to pick from, I don't have much experience with the other classes, but at least I can talk about the Reaver. The playstyle for the Reaver is mostly about having a prolonged existence in battles or in realms. Or as turns continue to pile up, your characters will actually your monsters will get stronger and stronger, and the enemies will more likely get weaker and weaker, and then you'll just be able to eventually overwhelm them. I've gone ahead and sorted them in priority by rank cost and then alphabetically because I think that's the most useful way to look at them. You will get 10 perk points for every realm depth you achieve, and then 25 perk points for beating a stage boss. So roughly 45 perk points for every section or chapter of the game you complete. That kind of gives you a sense of scale for how many rank points you will get, or how you can spend your rank points. So I'm going to hit each of these skills and tell you what I think about them. For Blitzkrieg, your creature's attacks that happen simultaneously to the same target deal 1% per rank more damage than the last. I don't really think this is all that necessary. If you're attacking simultaneously at the same target, he's probably going to die. That being said, keep in mind that by the time I'm currently recording this post commentary, I've only gone up to about realm depth level 38. So this is not maybe the wisdom of someone who has played hundreds of hours and has conquered the game and collected every monster, gathered all the achievements, and has in-game fusions of god spawns and such. This is just my input from about 40 hours of the game. Rapid exhaustion. Battle fatigue accumulates 2% per rank faster up to 25 ranks or 50% faster. I'll combine my discussion about battle fatigue along with Red Eye Flight. Red Eye Flight. Battle fatigue starts to accumulate 1 turn sooner per rank. So up to 25 turns. Now here's how battle fatigue works. I actually spent a long time just sort of writing down everything that happened in the battle turn, and this is what I believe. Every monster's action counts as a turn. Inner destruction does not count as a monster's action. So let's say that is your party of 6 and an enemy party of 6. Every chosen command or move counts as 1 action. When 50 actions have been consumed, battle fatigue sets in. Everybody is 20% more vulnerable to damage. And then it doubles every time after that. So 50 more turns pass by, and you would now be 40% vulnerable, then 80%, and 160%, and so forth. Or if you max out the skills of Rapid Exhaustion and Red Eye Flight, it'll drop from 50 turns to 17 turns. I don't know how that math works out. I've noticed that battle fatigue accumulates % faster and doesn't necessarily mean like... I'm sure that there's a gauge and I'm sure it works out mathematically, but I'm just telling you 17 turns is the number if you max out both Rapid Exhaustion and Red Eye Flight, at least in this version of the game. I don't personally feel that it's particularly that valuable because things that are difficult, I generally don't have enough time to build up battle fatigue. So otherwise you pretty much just get to steamroll the enemy. The best solution to defeating your foes in RPGs typically is to plan and prepare in advance before the battle ever happens. The same is true here as you create and fuse monsters, forge and upgrade their artifacts, and imbue them with spell gems. This is all done before you ever enter battle. So if you are lasting 50, 100 turns in a battle, you picking a different specialization might pay off more. Now remember that each turn is not like a whole round of combat where everybody has gone. Each monster counts as a turn. So if you have 12 monsters in battle attacking each other, you will hit that 50 turn mark shortly after 4 full complete attacks have occurred. So if your battles typically last longer than 4 moves per monster, that's when you start encountering battle fatigue at the basic or default level. And the reason I went over that so much in depth is because I could not find battle fatigue information anywhere. I could find dozens of questions, but nobody seemed to have an answer. Well, there's your answer. I logged 6 different fights, 6-on-6 fights, 1-on-2 fights, 2-on-1 fights, 1-on-1 fights, with and without the skill, and I just looked at my notes, and this is what I came up with. Alright, moving on to Skirmish now. Your creatures have a 1% per rank chance to attack an additional time. This effect can occur repeatedly until it fails. I really, really like this ability. It's not going to be a surprise for you to see your monsters attacking 3-4 times. I will say that when you're farming the game, which is what the game does encourage you to do, to max out your bestiary, summon monsters, collect resources needed to upgrade your items, the game pretty much is going to get you over leveled. So you won't actually need all those extra attacks. But if there is a monster that survived your first attack, this will pretty much do him in. Reign of Chaos. You can get 15 ranks of this, and your creatures will have 1% per rank, more health, attack, intelligence, defense, and speed for each battle you've won in the current realm. This is okay. If you're having trouble with if you're having trouble with your very first fight, yes, this will help you as eventually steamroll through that realm. So yes, it can help maybe for the unstable realms after you've survived your first couple fight. But realistically, it is the pre-planning that pays off more. Sap. Enemies take more damage from battle fatigue, 5% per rank. This is totally unnecessary. By the time you're getting to battle fatigue, you will be doing tons of damage. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the next page that I've put together, where all the rank costs are at 100. You need 100 points for all of these. These are all single level ranks, meaning each one of these perks, there's only 1 level of it. You take it and then it's active. Controlled Anger. After your creatures take 2 turns, they become immune to debuffs for the rest of the battle. Alright, I mean, I don't know what to say about this. This is not a bad skill. If you're worried about debuffs, there are plenty of traits that pretty much ignore debuffs, as well as spells that can get rid of them. Just dying by itself can get rid of a debuff just fine. So I would say that this probably is not worth 100 points. Especially since it takes place after your creatures have taken 2 turns. And I would say a good chunk of the battle is resolved within those first couple turns already. Mental Clarity. After your creatures take 2 turns, they can cast spells without consuming any charges for the rest of battle. This actually sounds really nice. With the Blood Mage, an advanced specialization that you do not get at the beginning of the game, you can cast spells that would require charges at the expense of 1/4 of your creature's health. This doesn't consume their health. If you decide to do something else for the first 2 turns, such as buffing your creatures or something, you can eventually start casting your in-game spells after that. So I can see this being very valuable fighting a boss. For common, everyday monsters, I think you're better off doing more prep work before engaging in battle. By choosing to leverage this, you'll end up making the battle last at least another 2 turns. Mercurial. After your creatures are attacked, and they fail to dodge the attack, their chance to dodge attacks is doubled the next time they're attacked. This effect stacks multiple times in a row until they successfully dodge an attack. I have not used this, but from the sounds of it, it's okay. Your ability to dodge is based off of your speed, and chances are by the time damage like this matters, you're going to set up your team where losing a creature means almost nothing to you, is what I'm going to assume. Perhaps not. But at least in the early game, you don't have the 100 points spare on this skill to hope that you will be better dodger next time after you've already been punched in the face once. In fact, you probably won't even wait and hope that you'll dodge, you'll just heal it off, or finish the battle and get all your health back. Onslaught. Your creatures deal 5% more damage and take 5% less damage for each battle you've won in the current realm. If you're not in a realm, this perk acts as if you've won 5 battles. Let's say that maybe you'll run into 10 battles a map. This is actually not that bad. I assume that if you're fighting a boss, this will result in a 25% increase in the damage you inflict and a 25% less damage that you take. So I think this is alright. Proliferation. Your creatures deal 30% more damage for each turn they've taken in battle. This is good. It works right away. You don't have to do anything to make it flashy. And if I'm correct in my interpretation of this applies to indirect damage as well. The damage I've been most successful with is indirect damage, since it hits everybody and you can't generally avoid it. Relentless. After your creatures attack, and the attack fails to deal critical damage, their chance to deal critical damage with attacks is doubled on their next turn. This effect stacks multiple times in a row until the creature deals critical damage with attacks. This is okay. I'd say it's better than Mercurial, which is the dodge variant. Still, you're probably better off spending those 100 rank points on something else. That's something you have to keep in mind, that if these are all free bonuses, it would be great. Just have them all, sure. It is a bonus, but you are actually choosing not to get, for example, maxing out your skirmish ability, which is a 25% chance to just attack a second time. Now, maybe the damage comes out better doing the critical hits, but I feel more comfortable having extra attacks instead. Reverberation. Your creatures attack and cast an additional time for every 2 turns they've taken in battle. You can't defeat your enemy in 1 turn. This will make sure they die. This will give you a definite edge and make sure they die screaming. If you find yourself getting ready for a boss battle or against enemies that are very durable or resistant to your damage, this is the way to go. Rigor. Your creatures are immune to snared, frozen, and sleeping. Weird thing about this, when I was typing in frozen, I had my emoji or my icon for that was actually blue, and when I turned the word snared before it red, the frozen icon just kept turning white. I don't know why. I think it's because you're allowed to color that snowflake any other color, but I had an actual specific blue image, and then it shrank and became a text image. All right. Anyways, Rigor is not bad. I think there's better things you could spend your points on. I would say being affected by frozen is annoying. Is it 100 rank points annoying? I don't know. Remember, this is 7 realm levels you're talking to be able to afford Rigor. Stimulation. Your creatures no longer take extra damage from battle fatigue. I can see this paying off if you're very, very carefully working around percentages and such. I would say this is probably more valuable than Sap, because this completely turns off the damage multiplier. So where you can have a 2,000% extra damage on an enemy, they will not have even 20% on you. But that being said, you'll be pretty much having to deliberately drag the battle on for that. And I can see myself turning that on in order to get some achievements in the game where I do massive tons of damage. Sure-footed. Enemies cannot move your creature down the timeline. I haven't not yet run into a lot of creatures where me being moved around on the timeline has been a large detriment. I mean, it's not great, but it hasn't been anything I've had to build myself around. Typically in games, if you've been debuffed or slowed or whatever, that's better than you getting killed, so I'll take it. As you see, I do enjoy having the Reaver's monster, but his skills I felt did not go well with the playstyle that I was anticipating. That being said, I think a Reaver would be a safe choice for anyone starting Siralim, because if you can't kill that monster in the first couple turns, you will grow as the battle progresses and be eventually able to take down that monster. So you could end up, say, being outclassed by some brownie maulers or a mini-boss or something, but as the battle carries on, you will just overwhelm the enemy with your stats. So I'd say this is a safe bet, even though a lot of the perks I just haven't found a use for. But again, these are just my thoughts of having played Reaver. Maybe it's just the case that the grass is always greener on the other side, I don't know. But if I had to pick my skills, it'd probably be Skirmish as number 1, Reverberation as number 2, Penetration as number 3, Mental Clarity as number 4, Controlled Anger as number 5, and Reign of Chaos as number 6. I don't think this is a negative criticism of the Reaver. I think I would not have been as successful without the Reaver's ability, or even his starting monster, which I have not yet encountered again in the game. The Reaver is good for dragging out fights, and that's not typically my playstyle. I'm trying to go through the fights as quickly as possible so I can go on to the next meal. Thank you very much for watching Tran wins Siralim Ultimate. I'll see you next time.